Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we do have a lot of things to talk about, right? Jules Kounde is going to be out for 3 weeks, but there is some big news in regards to player availability. Barcelona might have Lewandowski and Alejandro Balde just in time for the match against Inter Milan in the second leg next week. We're also going to be talking about some La Masia players that has been seen during the training sessions earlier today. So there's plenty to discuss for today's video. I want to thank everybody here so much for watching, and if you guys end up liking this video by the end, please click the thumbs up button and also maybe and hopefully subscribe to the channel as we are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. So I'm very much excited, and once again we have a lot to talk about, and let's talk about Jules Kounde first, because it says here, right, that Jules Kounde is going to be out for 3 total weeks. It's official, right? He's going to be out for 3 weeks. It is it is a headache, a huge headache, and the fact that he got a calf injury, I'm like, okay, fine, calf injury. You know, when I first heard about this, I was like, okay, he might be out for about maybe a week, maybe 2 max, but 3 weeks, that basically means that he's not going to be available for the match against Real Madrid, Inter Milan, and then Real Madrid, and then just in time to come back after the match against Real Madrid, which is unfortunate because we need to have all of our A-game players in these games, and we want to be able to solidify our stance in the Champions League to go into the final, solidify our stance in La Liga, and defeat Real Madrid. So the fact that he's not going to be there, it's a huge warning. But here's the thing, we do have a lot of options, and they may not be as strong as Jules Kounde, but I would like to argue and say that a player like Eric Garcia can be a decent replacement to Jules Kounde. Eric Garcia has shown time and time again that he is extremely solid. He knows how to defend. He can distribute passes. He's not like the best when it comes to, I would just say, maybe 1v1 defensive duels. Jules Kounde is a master at that. But overall, Eric Garcia is very balanced, I would say. He is probably our most versatile player that Barcelona has gotten since, I would just say, Sergio Roberto. Okay, Aruo Garcia has shown that he can play in the CDM role as a center back, and now he's playing as a right back, and he's playing in that position extremely well. So I think that in the future, Eric Garcia is a very viable option, and he will be used. He will be starting with Cubarsí, Inigo Martinez, and Alejandro Balde at the back for the match against Inter Milan and for Real Madrid, and then moving forward from there. So he's out for 3 weeks. Eric Garcia is the definitive option, and one of the things that I do want to speak about is a question that I was given by Mango Boy. I'm just going to include this question here because I am going to be having a Q&A session later, and Mango Boy, right, I just wanted to take his question out because it kind of goes in theme with whatever topic is for today, and he stated, yo, why do you think we should put Eric Garcia over Aruo on the right back position? We need physicality and pace, and you mentioned 1 week ago that Aruo should play at San Siro. Also, are you sure that Lewandowski or Lewandowski and Alejandro Balde will return? So, very good question, and I do want to clarify. So I did say that Aruo should be a player that should start against Inter Milan in the second leg, mainly because at that time, Jules Kounde was available. Right? When I said those statements, Jules Kounde was there. And the fact that Jules Kounde is no longer there, it changes everything. Okay, it changes my whole plan. If Jules Kounde is not there, that basically means that the only player that could be there is Eric Garcia, because we can have an argument about whether we should use Aruo or Eric Garcia. I think that Aruo is much more of a player who I would just say can take more in charge in the center back position because he knows how to track back, right? We have seen his capabilities to track back, and he stopped one of the shots from Thuram. He was amazing. So we need him there. And I would also say that his football IQ, when it comes to like him running forward with the ball on the right back position, is not that great because most of the time he does get caught. He gets caught a lot. And when you're ordering for our right back to go up there and go and attack and score as many goals as possible, within this context against Inter Milan, we're going to need that. And I would not like to see Aruo so far high up in the pitch, knowing that we have Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez at the back, and at any time Inter Milan can counterattack us. It's a huge headache, and it's not good. It's not like, okay, Aruo is good at I would just say football IQ of being a center back. But in terms of a right back, it's a whole other different ball game because you have to time your runs. You have to know when to go up and when not to. And Arujo does not have enough practice to do that. Now, you may say, no, but Kevin, we saw Arujo play well as a right back against Vinicius and against Real Madrid. Why are you changing everything now? I'm saying that because it was against Vinicius. And going up against Real Madrid, we know that there is going to be a left winger for sure, a full-time left winger for sure, which is Vinicius, which means that it's much easier to predict how that team is going to play. And so with Arujo playing in the right back position, all we have to tell him is say like, look, just stay at the back, make sure that Vinicius never gets open, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Do not even worry about going up there and trying to score as many goals as possible because we have Rafinha, Yamal. They send a couple of players high up, and it's going to be much more open because if you compare the game plan with that and with the one of Inter Milan where it's very congested at the back, it's different. It's much different. And with all those tight spaces against Inter Milan, it's ugly. And Arujo is not a player that you can count on to maneuver through those tight spaces. It doesn't make any sense tactically. With Eric Garcia, it does make sense tactically because he can maneuver through tight spaces because that is the reason why he performs well in the CDM position. So it's different games. It depends on who we do face. That is why I do say, like, does this make sense or not? Arujo makes sense for the match against Inter Milan as a center back, not as a right back. Against Real Madrid, he can play as a center back if you want, but I would prefer Cubarsí or Diego Martinez. He can also play in the right back position. It's fine. But against Inter, knowing the context, knowing their formation, knowing their game plan, it makes much more sense for us to have, I would say, Eric Garcia on the right back position. And if Arujo were to be in the defense and starting, it would have to be in the center back positions. But as of now, I would say that Inigo Martinez and Cubarsí are doing very well. Would I prefer Arujo starting against Inter? Yes, I do. But I don't think Hansi's going to opt for that. I would like to see Cubarsí and Arujo, but you really want to take out Inigo Martinez, right? Then we can say, like, okay, let's put Inigo Martinez and Arujo, right? Do you really want to take out Cubarsí? It doesn't make any sense. So there goes your answer, right? And you also said, also, are you sure that Lewandowski and Balde will return? That is going to be the next conversation that we are going to be having. So let's transition, okay? Let's talk about Alejandro Balde and Lewandowski and the importance of their re-emergence, because I'm very excited. I think that we were missing some players in the match against Inter, and it's because of two different reasons, okay? Which correlates to the two players that we're going to be having back. Point number one, okay? I just want to talk about the sporting difficulties that we had against Inter. I saw multiple times in this game against Inter where we tried to cross the ball early in the game in the air, and that was a problem because I'm like, dude, you're not gonna win no freaking air, no headers at all. You're not gonna do that. If you had Sorlath or like Luke De Jong, right, the almighty Luke De Jong or Aubameyang, then yeah, it makes sense to make making those crosses into the air. It makes sense. I'm like, yeah, go more, because Inter Milan is like a grand total of like 6 feet. Everybody is 6 feet. Everybody is Sorlath. Everybody there is Luke De Jong in terms of height. So when I saw them do that, I'm like, you're not going to get anything with Ferran Torres. You're not going to win no aerial duels. It's a waste of time. If you're going to make crosses into the box, put it in the ground. But clearly it was one of their game plans, and that is how they wanted to tackle Inter in the beginning of the game. So I think that if Barcelona go with the exact same game plan and they say, we want to continue to do aerial duels, and we think that is one of their weaknesses and that is how we can get through, okay, a player like Lewandowski, having him start would make a lot of sense, and that is good news. We need a player like Lewandowski. Lewandowski is a player that can win you those balls in the air, or at least hold the ball, right, when he receives it. Like, he'd like grab it with his chest, put it down, wait for players like Yamal or Rafinha to make those runs. It's easy. This is a game for Lewandowski, so this is huge news, right? So it says here, as I pull up the screen, just give me a second, right? It's news. It's here, according to plenty of sources, via Instagram, via all these other journalists. Injury update: Alejandro Balde and Lewandowski in contention for Inter Milan versus Barcelona. So it's very much possible. Now, if you were to ask me, right, who do you think is for sure, like out of these two, who is for sure going to appear against Inter? I would tell you Alejandro Balde, because there has been more reports stating that Alejandro Balde is ready, that he will be 100% fit, he's going to be starting, and he will be going over Gerard Martin, which is going to be the other problem that we had against Inter Milan. I would tell you that we had no firepower on the left flank against Inter, and we needed the extra firepower, because if you look at Rafinha and what he did, all he did was receive the ball like just outside the box and looked for crosses, and that's it. But we had no 1v1 dual winner ball, like a dribbler type of player on the left wing. We needed something like that, because when you are facing deep blocks, you need players who can take on 1 to 2 players just like that, dribbling through the ball, eliminating players, and making one of your teammates open because you have just taken down 2 other players yourself. So Alejandro Balde is very much ideal. We could not get that with Gerard Martin. I am still going to stand here and say that Gerard Martin defensively was okay and he was solid. That is what he's used for. But there is scenarios, there is times where we do need to attack, and Gerard Martin does not bring that. Okay, and that doesn't mean not trying to shame on Gerard Martin. I think that, you know, he just needs time. He needs more guidance under Hansi. And I'm going to just continue to say that Gerard Martin is much more of a center back than a left back. And I want to see that hopefully maybe next season, if Gerard Martin ever wants to have some sort of prominence in the team, because right now Barcelona really do depend on a left back that can dribble with the ball. Alejandro Balde is that. So we are going to be having a massive upgrade on the left flank with Balde in against Inter. It's going to be very exciting. You want to say that, oh, yeah, Inter Milan's going to win because Pavard is going to be there and he was not available. Well, we're also going to have Alejandro Balde. So, like, what? So, if anything, the levels of football is only going to reach higher and higher. And I just pray, right? The only thing that I really think could stop us is if Inter just say, we're going to play an ugly match. We're going to try and go for the goal. I don't know how we're going to do it. We're going to try and go for the early goal, play an ugly match, waste time, right? Waste time. Like when the ball is outside and out of play, we're going to take our time. When we have substitutions, take our time. We're going to fake fouls, waste more and more time, and disrupt the momentum of Barcelona's attack. That is my biggest worry. And I feel like Inter Milan are going to approach that just like that. Because a lot of teams do that against us. They say, okay, we clearly cannot play against them. 1v1 duels is like a headache. It just gives them a higher chance of winning. And we tried everything that we could over there at their home, and they still scored 3 goals against us. We're going to have to play ugly. And so that is my biggest fear. And that's why I do say, like, we need more firepower if Inter are going to approach us like that. Balde and Lewandowski are very much important, and I hope that they do make it. Even Hansi Flick stated after the match, and I quote, "We hope Balde and Lewandowski are ready to play in Milan." So he does want them there, and we need them. So based off the reports that we have been hearing, I'm going to give a very optimistic starting 11 that we could see against Inter, because forget the match against Real Valladolid. I already told you guys that I do not want to see anybody that is important in that game. Like in terms of the number 10 position, Pablo Torre, right wing position, bring in Tony Fernandez or something. Bring in anybody. Give Ansu Fati some chances on the left wing position. Bernal can play on the number 9 position. That's fine. Whatever. For the CDM's positions, like use anybody. Eric Garcia. Well, I mean, like we need Eric Garcia, but use Gavi and just pull somebody from La Masia or something, and then from the back you can have Christensen. Give him some game time. Give Gerard Martin and Hector Fort some game time on the back. And that's it. Maybe Aruo can play a couple of minutes. Why not? But I don't want to see anybody important in that game. So let's pray, right? Let's pray that ends up happening for us, that we have Lewandowski and Alejandro Balde with us, because we need all the firepower that we need, and you guys know that. So that is it, right? Like I am going to be kind of ending it here in terms of this conversation alone. I do want to talk quickly about the other players that Hansi Flick has been calling up. And so in the previous training session that Hansi Flick had, there was 3 new players. Okay, 3 new players. And especially at a time like this, it's really something to keep an eye on. So those 3 players is Noah Darovic, Jofre Torrens, and Dani Rodriguez. 3 total players. I'm going to give you guys a background on who these players are. And you guys are going to have, by the end of this, you guys are going to be like, oh, that makes sense why Hansi Flick is calling out these 3 players. Because it is a big deal. And we want to see more La Masia players come through the first team, because it's working, right? We have betted on Kubarsi, it worked. Yamal, it worked. Hector Fort is working. Bernal, it worked. Casado, it worked. So here are going to be the next three players. Noah Dadovic, who is German, just like Hansi Flick, has been training with the first team, and they might be, I'm not saying that it is for sure, but might be in the squad list for the match against Inter Milan, just for precautionary measures. They might not be there. Maybe they're just there just to maybe to get to know the first team and be ready for the preseason next season. But we have Noah Dadovic at the age of 18 years old. He is from Germany. He moved back in August 2023 to Barcelona for 5 million euros and currently has a 1 billion euro release clause. And his contract is until June 2026. He has yet to make any appearance with the first team on a professional level. He started for the Germany under-17 team. He was European champion. He was in the team of the tournament. He played 23 games in the youth division, scoring 8 goals and 5 assists, and this is with his previous club. He is eligible to play for Germany, Iraq, and France, but he currently does represent Germany. But he's very versatile as a 10. I know that this is the last thing that we do need, which is like more 10s, because we have Olmo, we have Gavi, we have plenty of other players. We have Pedri, who can also play in those positions sometimes. We have Fermin Lopez. It's a lot, but this guy can play in the attacking midfield role as a central midfielder and also as a winger. So he has high technical skills. Jofre Torrens is a player who was born in Spain at age 18, very young. He has joined Barcelona's youth division back in 2018, so almost like 80 years ago, almost, maybe 7 years ago. So like around at the age of 11 years old, he joined the Barcelona Academy. He signed his first professional contract on June 16, 2023. He did encounter a knee injury back in September 2023 while he was with the Spanish national team under 17, and he missed most of the season at that time. So the 2023-2024 season, it has been really rough for him. But he has made his debut for Barça Athletic just now, like recently, back on March 15th, 2025. So about 2 months ago. He also featured in the Spanish under 18 team, and he is very much known for his athleticism, his ball carrying, and a lot of people do compare him to Alejandro Balde. So you can already see that maybe Hansi Flick is trying to have some ideas on maybe trying to reinforce the left back position early. Maybe he's trying to use Jofre Torrens as a replacement for Alejandro Balde, or a replacement for Gerard Martin, or maybe getting him ready for the preseason. There is ideas and moving blocks that Hansi Flick is doing right now to make sure that, okay, worst case scenario, if we cannot find or afford a left back in this summer transfer window, I want to work with these youngsters here because they seem like they are good enough. So it's good news. And then we do have Dani Rodriguez, who is 19 years old, so a year older than Jofre Torrens and Noah Dadovic. Dani Rodriguez is Spanish, 19 years old, joined from Real Sociedad back in 2020. He rejected PSG to join FC Barcelona, which is crazy. So he is a player that loves FC Barcelona, and he did pick the money, not the money. He did pick his sporting success over the money. And then he made his Barça Athletic debut back on September 16, 2023. So it has been a minute. He played for the under-19 team, the reserve teams back in the 2023-2024 season. He was the key part of Spain winning the Euros for the under-19 back in 2024. His contract has been extended until 2027, and he is known for his dribbling, his speed, his goal-scoring capabilities, his 1v1 skills, and he is described as Ribéry. So he does play on the left wing position. Now, once again, think about this, right? Just like the left back position, what is another position that needs reinforcement? It is the left wing position, like Rafinha. So I do not know if this has something to do with, maybe Hansi Flick is scared that maybe Rafinha could get injured at one point. Maybe he needs some rest. Maybe he's already thinking about the preseason and the fact that, what if Barcelona cannot afford bringing in a left winger to reinforce that side and to be the backup to Rafinha. And that is why he is looking at Dani Rodriguez and training with the first team. All in all, out of all of these three players, I am very much enthusiastic about Noah Dadovic, who can play across all fronts, from the right wing position, attacking midfield position, left wing position. He's very exciting. I would even say that I'm not trying to be rude or anything. Like I do appreciate these youngsters, and I know that they will do well. But I think that right now we're talking about the wrong players, because if we want to prepare ourselves for the next group of youngsters who is going to come in and really like just make a mark in the first team, especially in the preseason, is going to be the Fernandez brothers. You guys know about the Fernandez brothers. Gulli Fernandez and Tony Fernandez are two players that I know for sure will be in the first team next season. We're probably going to see them in the last 2 or 3 matches of La Liga when Barcelona hopefully, hypothetically, win La Liga in a couple of weeks. And just wait until you guys see them, right? We're going to be talking about those two players in a separate video. But Tony Fernandez is somebody who can play on the right wing position and play well, and for sure can be competition to Lamine Yamal. And he's only 16 years old, so imagine that. And then we have Gulli Fernandez, who can play in the CDM role, very versatile, also as a number 10. But this guy's is like a real true bred number 10. So the Fernandez brothers are going to be coming up at the same time, and I'm here for it. It's going to be a lot of fun, super exciting. And once again, there's going to be a video on that in the near future. So that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.